Welcome to the realm of intoxicating flavors and head-banging beer reviews.
Welcome to another episode of the Rare Beer Club. I'm your host, the Ginger Yeti. If you're new to the channel, the Rare Beer Club is a subscription club put out by the beerofthemonthclub.com. I receive a box every month that contains 2 hand-selected beers. Costs about $60. I used to have 2 big bomber bottles. Now they're mixing it up between bomber bottles and cans. And if it's a can, they give you 2 cans of the beer. I unbox the beers and select one to do kind of like blindly. And then I review the second one in another video. And I did the unboxing of this already and reviewed the first beer, which is the Imperial Satan's Pony. And this is the other beer that was in my box from, I believe it was August of 2025. And this beer is the 40th anniversary. It's a bourbon barrel aged imperial porter. It's from Millstream Brewing Company out of Iowa. It's out of Iowa somewhere. What's the name of that city? I just looked at it, but I cannot remember the name of that city off the top of my head because I've never heard of it before. Where is it? It's somewhere on here. I'll mention it again later. Rare Beer Club used to come with this really cool paperwork that talked all about the beer and the brewery. But now it seems like they switched this little laminated cardboard thing. And it gives you a little blurb about the brewery. But if you go to their website, it still gives you a lot of info about the brewery. So a little blurb here says it's a bourbon barrel aged imperial porter. It's a 8.5% ABV, 32 IBUs. Celebrating 4 decades of brewing excellence, this imperial porter undergoes meticulous aging in bourbon barrels for unparalleled depth. It pours deep mahogany with a creamy tan head, releasing aromas of roasted coffee, bittersweet chocolate, and toasted pecan. That sounds delicious. The palate unfolds with layers of coca, dark malt, stone fruit, and hints of anise. Complemented by toasty oak and subtle bourbon warmth, expertly balanced, it delivers a bold yet silky, fresh, worthy of this milestone brew. And that's what it says on the little blurb that they hand you. But I went to the website here. Let's give you a little more information about this beer. So again, the Millstream Brewing Company 40th Anniversary Bourbon Barrel Porter is 8.5% ABV. It's a 16-ounce can, 32 IBUs. Serving temperature is 48 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit. They suggest tulip, small Nonix, snifter, or goblets. I've got like a snifter goblet kind of glass here. I think it's a snifter. A malt is Pils, caramel chocolate, and Magnum Saaz. And hops are Magnum Saaz. As far as Millstream goes, a little history here. The Rare Beer Club says, if there was ever a place long overdue for a new brewery in the mid-1980s, it was Amana, Iowa. There you go. You're Amana, Iowa. And Amana, Iowa is like southwest of Cedar Rapids. Until the Millstream Brewing Company opened their doors in 1985, the area had not been graced by the presence of a brewery for over 100 years. Why it took that long to get a brewery going, we don't know. What we do know is that Millstream Brewing Company was the first microbrewery in the state of Iowa and has played a crucial role in the growth of craft beer in Iowa and beyond. Another thing we know, 40 years after their beer hit the market, they just keep getting better. The story really starts back in 1975 when founder Karl F. Zuber was traveling through Germany and fell in love with the country's impressive beer and prominent traditional beer culture. This was the same year that Miller Lite was launched, and watered-down corn and rice-based lagers were storming into fridges all over the U.S. So the difference between the state of beer in the 2 countries could not have been more stark. I agree with that right there. Despite the seemingly ominous headwinds in the U.S., Zuber was a true believer in the flavorful, traditional European-style beer, and alongside business partner James and Dennis Romig, he launched Millstream Brewing Company in 1985 out of a love for great beer and the will to brew handcrafted beers locally. This makes Millstream one of the OGs of the U.S. craft beer renaissance, among the first wave of craft breweries to make their mark on the industry, alongside the likes of Sierra Nevada from 1980, Boston Beer Company, which is Sam Adams, 1984, Bell's from 1985, and Harpoon in 1986. Though, that's crazy that all those renowned, like well-known, almost national corporate breweries were founded around the same time as this, but this isn't like a big crazy brewery that everybody knows. Though Millstream remained a much more modestly sized and locally focused brewery, what I just said, right? Master brewer Chris Priebe, who trained at Chicago's world-famous Siebel Institute of Brewing Technology, became Millstream's head brewer in 2000, setting them up for a period of growth as the craft beer market in the U.S. expanded greatly. In 2001, the brewery was sold to new owners, Tom and Teresa Albert, who maintained the brewery high standards and focused on German and other European styles. Then in 2021, the brewery was sold to Steve and Susan Charlier and their business partner, Justin Conaham. I don't know if I said that right. While the Alberts remain owners of the adjacent Millstream Brewhouse, the new owners have sought to maintain the brewery's core beers while expanding the lineup to include more contemporary styles. They've also added a canning line to adapt to the modern demand for this packaged format. So if you're ever in the area of Amana, Iowa, you got to stop at Millstream's tap room. They've got 20 rotating taps. Or head over to the Brauhaus to try their excellent beers as well as their handcrafted root beer, ginger beer, and cream soda. I did see on the website they do a whole line of crazy handcrafted sodas. And Millstream being in Iowa outside Cedar Rapids, I wonder if the Malted Gentleman has done reviews on Millstream or had any Millstream beers. Be interesting to see. I need to go back and look and see if he's done some reviews on these beers. Maybe he has, I just don't remember it. As far as tasting notes go, there's not a lot on their website for some reason. It's just a little brief blurb. So we'll look at the can and then we'll get into the tasting notes. It's kind of like a nondescript can here. It just says Millstream Brewing Company 40th anniversary bourbon barrel aged porter, 1985 to 2025. Can't believe that's 40 years. That is kind of wild. 1 pint, 8.5% alcohol by volume. If I turn it the right way, it says brewed and packaged by Millstream Brewing in Amana, Iowa. Bourbon barrel aged porter, millstreambrewing.com. Recycle me. Ziggy zoggy. Oi, oi, oi. The government warning. There is I believe that's a date on the can. Yeah. 5/8/2025. And again, this came from my August 2025 box. But it is a barrel aged porter. So it should have held up relatively well for the aging process. So we'll get into the tasting notes here and pop this open and see how it goes. Celebrating 40 years of craftsmanship, Millstream's 40th anniversary beer is full-bodied imperial porter that was expertly aged in bourbon barrels to deliver a smooth and decadent and complex drinking experience. Pours a deep dark mahogany with a creamy tan head. So let's pour it into the glass. I did look it up on Untapped. It gets at 3.70. Surprisingly, there was only 278 check-ins. No score on Beer Advocate. Get this poured out and see if they're correct here. Give it a little bit of a hard pour that might overflow the glass. So it pours out deep dark mahogany. We'll get to that in a second. And it invites with rich aromas of roasted coffee, bittersweet chocolate, and toasted pecan. Hashtag dip your beak in it. It's not a Ginger Yeti beer review if you don't snort it up with your nose. I do kind of get the pecan. Maybe a little bit of roasted coffee and chocolate. But the nose is very subtle. Even when I snort it up through my big, giant, plague mask nose. As far as color, it is a deep, dark mahogany to rich black. Can't see through that at all. I can see my face in the reflection of the beer. Got about a middle finger's worth of fluffy tan head going on. So the flavor is layered and robust, featuring intense notes of coca, dark roasted malt, deep down stone fruits, whatever that means, and hints of anise and black licorice that add depth and intrigue. You got my attention right there with black licorice and anise. Let's find out, and we'll move on to the rest of this small paragraph. Cheers, everybody. That is odd. Toasty oak and subtle bourbon warmth from the barrel aging process round out the profile, leaving a smooth yet bold finish. Perfectly balanced brew for those who appreciate the rich complexities of true barrel-aged porters. All right. This is an odd bird right here. As nutmeg won't stand up. This is... I don't get the alcohol. There's a little bit of like soda fizziness to it. And there's definitely like a strange licorice sweetness to it. There is hints of oak and chocolate in this, but it's got this really weird, like licoricey. But it's not like I'm saying licorice, like black licorice, but it's not like intense black licorice. And sweet and soda-like. It's very odd. I would never guess this is a porter. Yeah, there's no way I would guess this is a porter. It's sweet, kind of. And again, when I say licorice, it's not very bold or strong licorice, but it's got hints of licorice. And this weird, like, candy soda sweetness. And it's very soda-like. This is odd. This is hard to place. Like, the flavors aren't off-putting or like, they're not bad. It's just very weird. That soda sweetness, a little hint of like anise or licorice. Maybe a bit of chocolate and char in there. But this drinks like a soda. You know what's really funny? If you handed this to me and told me this was new Coke from like the early 80s, that new Coke, that abomination that Coke made to try to do something different, I might believe you. I mean, I might really believe that this was new Coke. It's so weird. It's very soda-like. I just don't know what to think about this. Millstream Brewing out of Amana, Iowa. 40th anniversary bourbon barrel-aged porter. I'm not really getting the bourbon or vanilla or anything like that. It's just really like a soda-like, almost like new Coke. Like new Coke, so I keep going back to. I don't know really what to think about this. I think this beer right here, I have to give it a let it play. It's not like it's a bad beer at all. It's just a very odd thing. It's really odd. I'd be really curious to see if the malted gentleman, Josh Ellis, if you don't know who he is, make sure you go check him out and subscribe to his channel. I'd be really curious to see if he's had some beers from Millstream. I'm sure he probably has. But this is just such an odd, weird thing. Like, I don't pick up any booziness. Don't pick up any alcohol. There's no bitterness. I just keep going back. It's very soda-like. And not that I've had new Coke since it came out the first time, but that's what like sticks in my head. That's what it reminds me of. It's just like new Coke. I don't know why that is. Like almost like somebody's trying to make Coca-Cola but doesn't have the recipe correct. And this is what they came up with. I know that really sounds odd for describing a beer, but that's what this really reminds me of. It's just like an off-brand Coca-Cola, which is super odd. But it is what it is. I mean, everything's subjective. It's just my opinion on the beer. And let me know down below in the comments if you made it this part of the video, if you've had the Millstream Brewing 40th anniversary bourbon barrel aged porter. If this is how their beers taste, I'm guessing their sodas are phenomenal, because this is so soda-like to me. But I'd like to know if someone else has had this, or have had any other beers from Millstream Brewing. Let me know down below in the comments. If you had this, did I get this wrong? Did I age it too long? I mean, this is over a year old, or almost a year old. Well, probably over a year old. Well, I've gotten long-winded on this. I'm just going to ramble on. Excuse me, and start bourbon. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying these rare beer reviews. And if you made it to the end of the video, like, pick out your own choice of emoji to put in the comments. And as always, embrace the adventure.